I now request Mr. N.K. Singh, who is our guest of honor and who is the General Secretary of the apex body, of the self-regulatory apex body of TV channels, and who has been associated as a journalist, who has probably discussed and given his opinions on different happenings in the world and in India. Today he'll be talking to us about the difficulties that the constitution makers faced when this constitution was adopted, when it was being drafted. Mr. N.K. Singh, may I request you, sir, to kindly interact with the audience.
Respected Chairperson, Dr. T.D. Dogra, His Excellency, the former Governor of Karnataka and CAG, former CAG, Dr. T.N. Chaturvedi, Dr. M.P. Singh, who is, the world knows his prowess in constitutions across the world. Dr. T.D. Dogra is our Pro-Chancellor as well, and he is chairing this August seminar. He is a leading light of this university and a banyan tree. But unlike the South Indian proverb that nothing grows under banyan tree, he reverses it, everything grows under him and takes sustenance from the roots that he had developed all these years. The topic is very sublime, but on these occasions, talking something negative about the Constitution would not gel with the scheme of things. But amidst these leading lights of the Indian Constitution, I'm standing here to throw certain questions which baffles my mind, and not only my mind, but the conscience across the country. Warren Hastings' impeachment motion was underway in British Parliament some 140 years ago. It was a very sensitive matter those days. Edmund Burke got up and he said, speaking on the motion, something has happened on which it is difficult to speak, but it is impossible to keep mum. Given the present scenario prevailing across the country, if we don't discuss these issues today pertaining to Constitution, perhaps posterity will not absolve us of the guilt that we are committing. Are we on the right track? Did our Constitution make us, notwithstanding the fact they were men of great prudence, a scholarly bent of mind, but did they give us a Constitution that really Indian genre wanted? Indian ethos, was it in consonance with the Indian ethos? You'll be surprised to know that halfway through the Constitution making, it dawned upon Sri Mannarayan, the great Gandhian, ki what have you done? You have not mentioned a single word about Panchayat Raj, which was the basis of this entire freedom movement. And Gandhi wanted it to be the bedrock of entire administrative structure, governance, entire model of governance. So then it dawned upon all the constitution makers, oh, it was a great mistake. And that is how it got a place, very minor place, in directive principles. It was completely averse to the Gandhian theories, Gandhian way of developing this administrative structure. So we have democracy today. It's been 70 years. But can you imagine what kind of democracy it is based on this constitution, wherein in 2000, year 2000, wealth, 37% of the wealth of this country was confined to 1% of elite. 5 years later, that was in 2005, it was 42%. 2010, it was 48%. 2012, it was 52%. 2 days ago, a latest report came and it said it is 58%. Means the total wealth of this country is confined to 1% and it is on the increase. 58% of the wealth is confined to 1% of the people. And it is continuing. And we say we just took a pledge that was this preamble, and this preamble reads, economic equality. Do we have that? What were the functional predicaments that these constitution makers really were subjected to? Did they make this constitution out of free will? I think Dr. M.P. Singh, Dr. T.N. Chaturvedi, by the way, he has got B.N. Rao's a small booklet. Who was the man behind this entire constitution making? Who had been doing everything at the behest of the Britishers? The model that we imbibed, the model that we inculcated, the model that we have in our constitution, this model was actually dictated by the Britishers. People in the Constituent Assembly shrieked from the rooftop, no, this is not our constitution. Even Dr. Ambedkar on the last day, when constitution was finally drafted and given to ourselves, that day speaking on the occasion, Dr. Ambedkar said, no, don't apportion this credit to me. Actually, the real person who should be given this credit is Dr. Sir B.N. Rao. He was knighted in 1938. So this constitution, was it made out of real free will? Was there a complete unison? Was there a complete harmony? Was there not external forces weighing heavily on the entire process? I'll quote you one example. In Article 25, we have 3 nice words. In fundamental right, that is for religious freedom, we have to practice, profess, and propagate religion. You might as well practice any religion of your choice. If you choose a religion, you can be allowed to profess it. Mera religion bahut acha hai. You can say that. But why propagation? How did this word come into our constitution? You know what happened that day? It was day exactly 6th December. Remember, Babri Masjid got demolished that day in 1992. 6th December, Loknath Mishra was highly agitated on introduction of this word in the draft. So he said, no, you can profess the religion of your choice. You can practice the religion of your choice. But how can you propagate your religion? On the chair was Professor Harendra Mukherjee. He was a Christian. He was leader of a Christian community from the Congress, from Bengal. He was presiding over the meeting. Poor Loknath Mishra was not good at English. So he was trying to read out from his manuscript. All of a sudden, Nehru got up. He said, Mr. Speaker, are we setting up a new precedent of allowing members to read out from manuscript? So much was the vehemence. And Loknath Mishra was just saying that no, I mean, your so-called secularism is faulty, is based on faulty premises. And this propagation should not be there. So Nehru's objection was, can he read out from manuscript? Poor fellow was not good at English. That was his problem. So Professor Harendra Mukherjee said, no, normally I don't allow members to read out from the manuscript. It doesn't behove a member. But in certain cases, when a member who cannot do justice by extempore addresses, I generally allow them. That was his order. That was his refrain. Nehru again got up. He said, no, but tell me what is the issue? Is secularism an issue today? So much was the vehemence. And finally, this word got placed in that. Now, most members were highly agitated. Constituent Assembly members were highly agitated. You know what happened? Nehru pressed Dr. Ambedkar into service. He met in the evening, all the members were opposing it. And then he said, then Ambedkar told them, no, Pandit Nehru has promised us that the moment this constitution is through, the moment we pass it, I will write a letter to Chief Minister telling them that you are being empowered by the parliament to make your own laws pertaining to conversion and this propagation. That letter never came into existence after the constitution was completed. If you see the constitution, if madam had given you the first page of the constitution, you would find there are signatures of all the members. The first signature is of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. And there is not a single centimeter's gap. It so happened that it should have been first signed by Dr. Rajendra Prasad because he was president. But Nehru signed it. There was no space for, when Dr. Rajendra Prasad came there, he found that there is not a single place where he can sign it. And it will be against protocol to sign it after Nehru. Then a meeting was held, and then subsequently found, then do one thing. You sign on the right side. So Dr. Rajendra Prasad had to put his signature on the right side of it. Now we come back to democracy, the kind of democracy we have, Westminster system that we have adopted. Intellectuals, British intellectuals shrieked from the rooftop, बाबा ये ना लो, ये वेस्टमिनिस्टर सिस्टम तुम्हारे लिए नहीं है, ये हम लोग 400 साल से प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं, रोज फेल होते हैं. But Nehru had a penchant for it. Nehru had an uncanny penchant for it. So he brought this into existence. He took that model, courtesy B.N. Rao. B.N. Rao was a person, 1945, when India, this was clear that India will be an independent country. Lord Bovell, Vice Chancellor, Vice Chairman, the Viceroy, wrote a letter to Secretary of State, Britain, that I am initiating the constitution making process. I would like you to issue an order that B.N. Rao, who was the then Prime Minister of Kashmir, may be drafted for this purpose. B.N. Rao was consulted, B.N. Rao came, and then he discussed at length with Nehru. Britishers wanted this India to be scattered into smithereens in at least 500 Indias, because they wanted sovereignty of all the states, all the riyasats, to remain intact. It was courtesy Sardar Patel that finally it didn't happen, and there was a very clear case of signature of all the princely states to sign on the document. So finally, India was one. I remember Mencken's very good satire. Mencken was a great humorist, satirist. He said once, democracy is a pathetic belief. Democracy is a pathetic belief in collective wisdom of individual ignorance. It applies in India very conspicuously. Individual ignorance. झारखंड में हर तीसरे दिन एक साइकेट्रिक की पेशेंट औरत को डायन कह के मार दिया जाता है, और जो हाथ मारते हैं ये कह के कि नहीं डायन है, पूरे गांव को खाने आई है, वही हाथ हमारे एमपी भी चूमते हैं. किस तरह का ये पार्लियामेंट होगा? व्हाट काइंड ऑफ गवर्नेंस वी विल हैव? आपने इकोनॉमिक पैराडॉक्स देखा, आपने इकोनॉमिक डिसिमिलरिटी देखी. इलेक्टोरल आप ताज्जुब करेंगे, इन तमिलनाडु जयललिता हैज गॉट less than 2 crore votes She has 37 members in this parliament, in this Lok Sabha. Mayawati has got 20 lakh more than what Jayalalitha has got. She has got 2.1 crore votes, but there is not a single MP. This is the paradox of this entire electoral process. The kind of FPTP system we have, it doesn't jet with the Indian psyche, which is quite dormant, it is not logical. जो हाँ झारखंड में एक बेचारी पागल औरत को जिसको इलाज की ज़रूरत है उसको ईंटे से मार देते हैं ये कह के कि डायन है पूरे गांव को खाने आई है, उससे हम मेंबर पार्लियामेंट चुनवाते हैं। इसीलिए गांधी ने कहा था कि इस पिरामिड स्ट्रक्चर को गांव से ले चलो, बट द पावर्स दैट वी डिड नॉट लाइक इट। तो जो फंक्शनल प्रेडिकमेंट्स रहे हैं, द काइंड ऑफ रियल प्रॉब्लम दैट दिस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मेकर फेस्ड, it has to be delved into. This is the right time. Posterity will not absolve of the guilt that we are going to commit. And we have great luminaries here who have been thinking all their life about the country. Is it not a question to be delved into now? क्या हमारा वाकई ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन सही है? Are we living up to real expectation of the people? कैसा पैराडॉक्स है कि 58% of wealth of this country is confined to 1% of elite. And it is on the increase. कल कोई ताज्जुब नहीं है कि हमारे सारे कपड़े किसी अंबानी के पास पहुंच जाएं और हम सड़क पे ऐसे ही खड़े हों। Is it not right time? तो एक तो ये है, दूसरा ये है कि एक बड़ा अच्छा किसी आपने नाम सुना होगा, एक जुमला है अमेरिका के बारे में, वी हैव, मार्क ट्वेन का ये है, वी हैव 3 great, unspeakably great things in our constitution: freedom of speech, freedom of conscience, and prudent not to use either. अगर इंडिया के बारे में कहना हो तो मैं ये कहूँगा, we have those 3 great, unspeakably great virtues in our constitution: freedom of expression, freedom of conscience, and prudent to use the first but not the second. That is how we are running this governance. क्या इस तरह से ये चला के आप डेमोक्रेसी को वाकई मजबूत कर रहे हैं? क्या ये ज़रूरत नहीं है आज इतने साल बाद कि हम फिर से एक बार देखें कि what were the difficulties that those constitution makers really faced? They were subjugated on certain counts, on account of certain other variables, outside variables. बड़ा अच्छा उसमें एक मेंबर ने खड़े होके कहा, हिदायतुल्लाह या ऐसे कुछ नाम था, he was not the CJI, the then CJI, हिदायतुल्लाह या हदीउल्लाह उनका नाम था। उन्होंने कहा कि अरे साहब, हमसे तो कहा गया था एक बच्चे को ये पैदा हो गया है, अब इसको जरा सा टीका वीका लगा के बढ़िया कपड़े उपड़े पहना दो। हमने पूरे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मेकिंग में इतना ही किया है। जिसने बच्चे पैदा किए, जिसने वो बच्चा पैदा किया, जिसने उसको स्वरूप दिया, जो उसको खिला रहा है, वो कोई और है, वो ऊपर की फोर्सेस हैं। और सच बात ये है कि हम जिसे कहते हैं विद ऑल ड्यू रिगार्ड टू द ग्रेट जीनियस डॉक्टर अंबेडकर, खुद डॉक्टर अंबेडकर ने कहा कि व्हाई आर यू गिविंग दिस क्रेडिट टू मी, आई हैव नेवर डन इट। 2 सितंबर 1953 को जब उनको काफ़ी इरिटेट हो गए, एक केस में तेलंगाना इसका केस था, somebody कैलाशनाथ काटजू got up and said कि बाबा साहब, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन तो आप ही ने बनाया ना, आप क्यों परेशान हो रहे हैं? तो गुस्से में बोले कि मैंने बनाया ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, आई वॉज ए हेक, मैं तो एक कुल्हाड़ी था, मुझे जो कहा गया काटना छाटना वो मैंने किया है। आप इस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को लेके क्या आज 70 साल बाद ये ज़रूरत नहीं है कि लेट अस टेक a re-look at the constitution and find out the vulnerabilities? क्योंकि उस समय B.N. राव ICS थे 1908 बैच के, 1908 बैच के। B.N. राव वॉज हाईली प्रो ब्रिटिशर्स, और यही वजह है कि उनको वावेल ले आए, और सिर्फ माउंटबेटन को इसलिए भेजा गया था कि तुम सिर्फ ये देखो कि राव का पूरा अथॉरिटी वहाँ पे है। डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद ने कहा अपने मीटिंग में कि नो, आई मीन, it is a creation of Pandit Nehru and Rao. तो अगर हमें आइकॉनाइज करना है, अगर हमें आइकॉन डेवलप करना है, तो BN राव को करें. And then let us analyze whether the writs of Dr. Ambedkar really run. उस जमाने में क्या वाकई डॉक्टर अंबेडकर जो चाहते थे वो कर सकते थे? हर मीटिंग में BN राव बैठते थे. BN राव और नेहरू कैम्ब्रिज में साथ पढ़ते थे. तो ये जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बना है, अगर आप इसको गौर से देखें तो ये भारतीय भारतीय जो थॉट प्रोसेस है उसका ये उपज नहीं है. ये कहीं से इम्पोज है, जिसमें फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर, मैं आपको अगर बताऊं, और ये लॉ के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए ज़रूरी है कि अगर ये पता लग जाता कि माउंटबेटन जल्दी में है, एंड ऑन जून 1948 दिस मैन इज गोइंग टू इवेपोरेट फ्रॉम इंडिया, अगर ये पता लग जाता तो हम लोग फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर को पे डिस्कशन बंद कर देते, और जब वो चला जाता दबाव थोड़ा कम होता. हालांकि राव तब भी थे, राव ने पूरे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मेकिंग तक रहे और उनका दबाव, नेहरू का दबाव पूरा रहा. लेकिन कम से कम इतना होता कि हमारा जो फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर है इसका नेचर जो आज है वो न रहता. इट वुड हैव बीन ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट. तो मैं सिर्फ यही कह रहा हूं कि आप लोगों के सामने इस सब्जेक्ट पे बोलना मेरी हिमाकत है. इट इज़ रियली अ टेमेरिटी फॉर मी टू स्पीक ऑन दिस सब्जेक्ट, बट माई हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट is it not the right time that we delve deep into this and find out whether it is in consonance with the Indian ethos, Indian thought process? If there is something amiss, can we not correct it now? Thank you very much.